Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Shine Wealthy. I am so excited to share with you today my good friend, soul sister, Debbie White. She is a branding coach. She has helped me with my brand and my voice, and I am so darn excited to share her with you today. Debbie, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here to share your zone of genius.
Thank you so much, Chris. So great to be here.
Thank you. Gosh. So you have got a lot of experience. I want you to kind of share with people, your background and the experience that you have, like when we're in, well, we'll get into branding and what all that means, but I want them to hear all about you.
Okay, I'm going to date myself. I have been doing the world of marketing for a very long time. I actually even have a degree in it, which is almost like novel these days. And I started my career out in New York City, working on global brands like Lipton Tea and Dixie, paper cups, plates, all these things, Lego toys. And then I went on to Seattle and helped launch Starbucks when Starbucks was going, just exploding way back in the day. I actually wrote an art directed the very first TV campaign and got to be involved at a very high level, rolling out Starbucks before it became a thing. And I've just spent over 3 decades in the creative advertising and marketing space, working with major brands in the capacity of art director, then creative director, then advertising agency owner. And I love the strategy. And so for the last 2 years, I have transitioned to being a brand coach for women entrepreneurs and helping them grow their own strategic, based on truth, completely authentic brands that really do stand out. So I love doing it. It's so much fun.
And you're so good at it. And it's so much fun to work with you. It really, I loved my experience with you, Debbie. It was so fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to talk about brand because there is a lot of confusion out there about what is a brand.
Yes. Well, I will tell you, a brand is not a logo. It's not just, yes, a brand has colors. I am very on brand today. I've got my colors going on, but this is not my brand. This is just a tiny, this is just the icing on the cake. Mm-hmm. A brand is really about, I love this quote. Actually, Jeff Bezos said it. A brand is what people say about you when you leave the room.
Ooh.
So it really is about controlling the perception of what you do, how you do it, why you do it, who it's for, what's the brand promise, how do you stand out, what's your secret sauce, all these things I'm kind of firing off. That is what your brand's all about. And some people will say, that sounds like a business, like strategy. Oh, it is. When you do this work, it often will shift your business and make it even more pointed, more powerful. It all works together. How do you express that brand? What's the vibe? You can see my vibe is fun and playful and, but that might not be the right vibe for your brand, but you don't start with, I like this color. In fact, none of these are my favorite colors. You don't pick a brand color by like, what color do you like? It all starts from, who are you here to serve? How is your brand unique and different? Because it is. Even if there's hundreds and thousands of other people doing what you do, you have something so unique and you've got to work to be able to fine tune that, what it is, what your key system is. All these things create a brand that people seek out, that it's how you create a brand that becomes the industry leader instead of like a follower. It's also how you break out, because if everyone's doing the same thing, saying the same things, you're not going to stand out. So a brand's not a logo. It's really the whole fabric of your messaging is what I call branding and brand strategy.
I love that. Yeah, it's not just the fancy photos and it's not the photo shoot and it's not the logos and it's not the colors, although those are pieces that you will put in there. Yeah. But it really has to start from something deeper.
Oh yeah.
And I know, with you and I, we started with my why.
Absolutely. That's where we always start. I always start with, why do you do what you do besides making money? And I get there's a personal why, and I get that, and that's important too. Then there's the why as it relates to your brand. In other words, what gift you desire to give to the world and why. You have your own brand story, your own founder story even. You have a beautiful founder story, excuse me, of why you do what you do.
Thank you.
And it's powerful. Those stories are powerful. Those stories also make up your brand. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so when people think about a brand, you know, again, that is a way that you are also, we're in the tract pillar here. So when you are clear with your brand, it is also going to give you the tools to know how are you going to attract the right person to you, not just like your ideal client, not just like anybody out there, any.
Right. The work of branding is a clarifying and focusing. It's really clarifying your brand. It includes, I end up doing this a lot when I'm talking. We tend to kind of be all over the place. I can do all the things. I can serve anyone, you know, I can help all the people. And that's probably true. I mean, I could help anyone with marketing, but I've narrowed my focus, you know, down. Like I am specifically targeting, I know my ideal perfect client so well. She's, you know, 40 to, you know, 60. She's had a business background, done some things, but now she's like, I need to take this whole show online big time. I'm ready to stand out. I'm ready to really pop it. I need to know A to Z steps, right? You have to understand who your ideal client is. You start with your why. I'm jumping through their steps. First of all, is you start with your why. Then you have to really narrow and focus your ideal target audience, because the more you narrow it down, the more your ideal target audience will be like, oh my gosh, she is speaking to me. Like if I'm telling stories and say like, you're probably hitting your head against the wall with your marketing, it's not standing out. It's not, you know, you didn't grow up, you know, doing selfie videos. Like what the hell? You think the millennials have it all going on, but you're like, oh my God, I know what my ideal target audience is thinking. And that goes for you too, of where are they at? How can you narrow that so you really have one person you're speaking to in your mind, a persona.
Yeah.
And then getting to that place where you can identify not only what they desire, because all your content, all your branding content is about them. It's not about you. There's so many things to spell out about this, but all this is brand strategy. It's really the network and foundation of all marketing has to start there. And that's one thing I learned in my 3 decades. We couldn't even create a creative TV commercial or an ad without all this, this backbone work first.
Yeah.
Research and demographic. But you know what? This is classic. This will never, ever change. It'll never go out of style. It's classic strategy for marketing. And it takes time, I believe, to evolve it, to become a marketer. And here's the other reality check. Excuse me. If you're in business online, you're required to be a marketer. And I think that's a pill. Some people are like, oh, I don't know if I want to take that pill. It's like, but there's a way to do it where you're just serving the knowledge that you know in a way that's going to work, in a way that's simple, in a way that really speaks to exactly who's going to get the best results. So that was a long answer, but it helps you attract your ideal, perfect, most fun and favorite people to work with, because you're getting more clear on who that is. You're speaking to the very problems and issues they have with your way of solving it. And you're really in tune with, they're not buying the thing, they're buying what the thing does for them. And that's what you're speaking to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good. Because without these foundational pieces, it doesn't matter what you try, and it doesn't matter what platform you're on. These are foundational pieces that you have to get dialed in first, no matter if you want to be on LinkedIn or TikTok or
absolutely. They
Facebook,
go anywhere.
Instagram or whatever. Or
the new thing coming and we're all going to be holograms. You're still going to need this. You're still going to need to know what hologram people am I talking to? Where's
Yeah.
my little world going to be? And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm making fun, but not really. I mean, all this is coming, but this is everything. This is email. This is, you know, if you have a Facebook group, if you're on Instagram, just like you said, Facebook, LinkedIn, I don't care where you're going, Twitter, you know, TikTok. You have to start with, what is your brand all about? Why does it matter?
Mhm.
What's your actual purpose? Because I'm going to spend a second on this. All of you are here to make the world a better place. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. They wouldn't be here if.
No, you're here to help others, to make a difference in someone's life, to change lives. That's what it is. Knowing why that's so important to you as a business owner is connecting to your why, your purpose. If you can embed that story into your brand, that's already a connection on, let's call it a heart connection with your audience.
Mhm.
That's a personal story. That's a part of building a dynamic brand. So there's the foundation, then there's the storytelling aspect and the emotional connection in order to build real friendship and relationship so that they want to work with you. It's a process, right?
Mhm.
All of this is rooted in what I call brand strategy. It's what it is. A lot of people just call it like digital marketing, and you see a million different things out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's templates you can use, and I'm personally, and you know this about me, Chris,
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of templates. I know they can help people kind of like baby steps and crutches, but at some point, the power and what you're here to do and the difference you're here to make in other people's lives is going to come from what you already have.
Mhm.
Your own stories, your own insight, your own expertise is the power of your brand. That's what I help
Saying
people
that. Yes.
do, is really get clear on owning their own power of what they're here to do and serve and help, and being able to utilize, it's really pulling it out out that's already there. You already have it in you, all of you. It's just, how do we allow that to come through in a way that gets heard and seen?
Yeah.
And that's the work.
It is. And it evolves, you know. Here's
It does.
the thing, I'm sure that you would say this is, we start someplace, but the more you work with your clients and the more you share your brand, the more it evolves and you learn even more and more and more.
It deepens and it gets more clear. There's like little breakthroughs will happen as you're doing this work. Like, oh, it's dropping in for me. I'm seeing, and then something, it just keeps deepening. And what happens is your business keeps expanding to how further it can reach because you've narrowed down. So if that makes sense, the narrower you go, the more you break through, and the more, honestly, the more impact you can have.
Thank you for saying that. I really want to hone in on this because I think this is something that you hear a lot. I know I hear it a lot with my clients, especially with new coaches or holistic practitioners that are afraid that if they get narrow, then they're going to actually not attract clients. Like, oh, but if I get too narrow, if I get too specific, then I'm going to be losing clients, when, you know, I really want to help everybody, like you said earlier. But the thing is that if you don't get narrow, then your message doesn't land with anybody.
No, here's the thing. Who speaks to everyone? Think about the brands out there. Amazon, Walmart, Coca-Cola. You don't have that kind of budget to reach people. And by the way,
right?
I know this. I know these brands. Guess what? They're not serving one person. They have whole entire teams serving individual personas and multiple demographics. You do not have the bandwidth and the fingerprint to do that. So that's number one. Number two, there's a saying, the riches are in the niches.
Yep.
For a reason.
Yeah.
So when you tighten, like, let's take the lens on, who am I for? I'm for anyone. No, I'm for women. Actually, women 40 to 60. Actually, women entrepreneurs that want to make a difference in the world. Actually, women entrepreneurs that want to make a difference in the world between 40 and 50, that are coaches that, you'll keep narrowing the lens. Okay, now I can speak. See that little, my little visual. Now I'm speaking exactly to what they're telling me that they're struggling with. It seems overwhelming. They don't know how to stand out with all the other coaches. They want to serve everyone. Like, if you tighten that focus down to serving, you know, a specific type of person, maybe you decide, I'm just making stuff up here. I want to serve women going through menopause, or I want to serve, you know, like a really small niche. You become a specialist. Think about when you all go out and hire a specialist for specific things, right?
Yeah.
You and I are both specialists. We both have narrow focuses, right? So we know this body of work better than anyone. You have the opportunity to be a specialist. A specialist gets paid more, is more desired, can become the go-to brand in that category, has more opportunities to speak, to go to summits as an expert on a specific, you know, small category. They will stand out.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you. So once you own one category, and only when you've like, I kill this category, I am just blowing out of the water, I'm at 7 figures, then you might expand a little out of there, right? Most of us are never going to get to that place, and that's okay. Some of us will, but start with a small niche, because you will be able to speak to your audience as if they're on the other side going, you know me.
Yeah.
You know everything that's going on in my life. Wow.
Yeah.
I have to work with you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Perfect example. And I'm so glad that you used that, because I actually just hired somebody to help me with hormones, and it's specifically hormones. I didn't just hire a general health coach.
Right.
I hired somebody who was very, very specific. She's a functional practitioner. She specializes in hormones. And so the way her message to me was saying exactly what the symptoms, the experiences, the challenges that I was experiencing. And I'm like, I want that. I don't want somebody that is generally going to tell me, oh, I can help you feel better. That doesn't tell me anything.
Exactly.
Right. I want someone specific. I want a specialist.
Okay, here's the other thing. Let's just keep going on this, because I think this is going to land for everyone. So when you hire that specialist, she has already worked with other people that are going through the exact same thing as you, right?
Yep.
And she probably has examples of successes that came to her with exactly what your situation and problems are.
Yep.
So see how we desire that level of expertise. The jack of all trades thing that went out like 20 years ago. And I know people resist this, because you really can help everyone. I get it. But you can help those in a specific category even more when you become a specialist. And that's really what this is becoming a boutique specialist brand that charges premium prices, delivers results over and over again with a specific niche, because you know how to solve those specific problems so well, right? And you become known for that. You become a brand that has got a, you know, this brand is the specialist brand for women's hormones. There's no other one like it. You know, that's what we're all aiming for within our specific niche.
Yeah. And that also, for me, lends credibility to this person, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's authority, it's credibility. She's a standout leader in her field. I want to know that she's worked with other people like me.
Exactly.
I want to know that, you know, it's not just been like, well, yeah, I think I've worked with a couple people in hormones, and I've worked with a couple people with diabetes, and I've worked with a couple people with, you know.
Yeah. How does that make you feel if you like have a surgeon and they're like, oh, you know, I need to have like my neck repaired. And it's like, do you go to I'm gonna totally ruin all the people. I'm gonna say it all wrong, but like the neck specialist, or you go to the woman, it's like, you know, I can fix any bone in your body.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The neck's a little different. Oh, I've done a neck one before. I just got out of a toe surgery. I mean, I'd love to have you. I mean, and we're being silly, but it's the same thing with your brand.
It is. It's absolutely true. And you know, the other thing that I want to share here with other people too, is it actually becomes more easy, because you get simple, you get focused, you start to know this one person. And so it becomes one main message, one main ideal client, one main challenge, one main result, one main program.
Exactly. That's the whole beauty of having the system. It is a system. You start here. I don't know what my cool thing is. we figure that out, move you along, and then all of a sudden you're like, exactly, Chris.
Yeah.
My persona, my person I'm speaking to, this is her key problem.
Mhm.
Always, it's the number one problem. Here's the other two things she's always talking about. Well,
Yeah.
guess what your content's going to be solving over and over and over and over again, like a broken record. So you are so well known for this. People are like, hey, have you heard about the hormone coach that does the 3, 4, 5 step? Oh yeah. You know, whatever that thing is, you
Yeah.
name it.
Yeah.
That's what you're striving for.
Yeah.
And it is, it's authority. It's brand power, dominating an industry. It gives you so much more. And let's face it, you're going to attract people and be able to charge a premium price.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
We talk about being well and wealthy and creating income in our business.
yeah.
This is one of the fastest ways to do that, is to get simple, focused, go all in, one main ideal client, like become that well-known standout authority in your field
Yes.
instead of trying to solve everybody else's problem. Everybody else's problem.
Absolutely. And I know it's scary to step into that and you feel like I'm going to lose so much business. Like I serve women. Okay. I've had male clients.
Mhm.
And sometimes say, would you ever work with a guy? I'm like, well, one-on-one, sure. I mean, you know, like a VIP. I mean, I've done that. But I also know that there's a different set of problems, a different set of issues with women, especially online and being vulnerable and showing up than men have, for most men. And there's just a different set of issues. It is different. And if it weren't different, I wouldn't have it that way.
Yeah.
But for you too, just be thinking about, you know, who do you love serving? Who can you get the very best results with, and you know it, you know, start there. But that kind of focus is going to make everything more fun, everything simpler. And then you can really build on that consistency.
Yeah. Why do you think it feels so hard to people to find a niche?
I think most people probably overthink it. I think it's probably standing right in front of you.
Mhm.
And again, I think there's this lack mindset. A lot of this is mindset that if I let go of that, I won't be as successful.
Mhm.
It just sounds very limiting. Like I want to be able to do all the things. A lot of entrepreneurs that say, hey, I want to have my own business. They want freedom. They don't want anyone telling them what to do. I've heard all these things, all these reasons of why they don't want a niche. You know, I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to limit myself. I will promise you, by narrowing your focus, it's like taking your laser beam instead of it shining everywhere and no one really can see your light at all, and just going whoa, and focusing like a laser beam to your ideal client, and they will see it. It will break through. And that's how people that have very successful business, you look and see what they're doing. They started there. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who you see who is a standout leader in their field, that's exactly what they're doing. And they're focusing on one main message, and they're focusing on one main client. Now, it's interesting because I do have some people say, just like you said, well, you know, would you work with men? You know, there are always going to be outliers in our business, but our brand message is going to be geared to that fine-tuned, you know, one thing. Of course, like it's, you know, if a male, you know, wellness entrepreneur, male coach wanted to work with me, sure, I'd probably work with them one-on-one. That doesn't mean that I can't help them, but I'm going to change my messaging because I work specifically with women wellness entrepreneurs and holistic practitioners. So, and you're right, there are some very different challenges and results. You know, what does it look like for us on the Pain Island? What does it look like for us on Pleasure Island? That is going to talk to different people. And so while I can absolutely serve an outlier, I'm not going to have my brand messaging go to that person because that's not the main person. That's not the one that we want to focus on.
Yeah. And I really suggest this too. Some people will try to straddle it and go, well, I've got two. No, you have one.
Yeah.
You need to go all in on your business. Focus. One target audience. You're not big enough yet to have two. There might be outliers, like Chris says, if people find you and come to you just because, awesome. That's another little icing on the cake, but that's not your focus.
Yeah.
So that's the advice I would give.
So what would you say to somebody who was just starting out, who was like, but I don't know, like, I don't know. Like, do they pick, I I know what I would say, but I want to hear what you would say because you're the expert. How do they pick?
How do they pick their niche?
Yeah.
I always start with what you know.
Mhm.
It's probably, there's a couple theories. One might be, especially for coaches, it could be very well be the former you,
Mhm.
because we often become an expert in areas that we are most interested in because we've had an experience, et cetera, et cetera. So that's probably standing right in front of you. I would also look at, if you've had any types of clients, look at the commonalities. What do they have in common?
Yes.
Who's been your best, most favorite client so far? Why? Really think about that type of person. What stage in life are they at? What typical issues are they dealing with? What is your expertise that you know so well? We actually use a Venn diagram with our members and take them through like how to define those areas. It can be your passion, your experience, pull all that together. And it can also be, first of all, what's needed right now that's not being served at the very best level. Some of the most incredible businesses have been born out of necessity. I was just reading a book last night, like Airbnb was literally born out of the founder, rented his bedroom out during some big festival or something. It's like, wait a minute, there's like a need for this. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
So where's the need? Where's your experience? Where's your passion? How do they align?
Yeah.
And it'll probably shift and change as you start out, and that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing is to start.
Yeah, totally. I remember when I first started my health coaching practice, and I was trying to figure out what did I want to serve? Who did I want to serve? And when I took a look at my 3 most favorite clients, that's when I figured out that, oh, they're actually all wellness entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, duh, of course, like
Yeah.
that's my background, right? That is also a version of me, one was a yoga teacher, one was a massage therapist, and one was a coach. And I was like, and they're all in the wellness world.
There you go.
So sometimes it's like right there.
It probably is. And I would never think that I would go with that. And some people will pick an actual client and go, I love working with Jenny.
Yep.
Well, talk to Jenny. As we have a script, like talk to Jenny, ask her questions, get in Jenny's head. What does Jenny want? What are her key problems? What is she looking for? How does she want to feel? All those things. If all of your content is for Jenny, there's a lot more Jennies out there going through the same exact thing. Then it becomes highly relevant to all the thousands and hundreds of other Jennies.
Yeah.
So that's really boiled down, how to do it. And it's very powerful. So I would say step into it. Everyone, like you said, that has a successful business has started their business that way. And if you look underneath who they're talking to, they still have a very well-defined target audience that they're speaking to.
Yeah. And the other thing that I would just want to throw in here is I see a lot of people switching niches often.
Oh gosh.
And that is one of the worst.
The niche switchers.
Niche switchers.
I'm getting a name for that. I do too. And this is the classic entrepreneur chasing shiny objects. And it's highly dangerous when you start chasing shiny objects in your niches and in your offers.
Yep.
Very dangerous territory. Here's the secret. Here's one of the secrets, I believe, about being a successful entrepreneur is even though you did this and you have all these ideas and you're a visionary, and those of you that like to switch things up all the time, you're going to have to appease that need to switch things up in other areas besides your niche and your offer, or you're not going to get traction. You need to become known as a brand in that niche, right? You test it out by, am I getting traction? If you're getting traction, why would you switch niches?
Yeah.
Right? If you're getting traction with a key offer, why would you throw that out and keep reinventing yourself? Those people don't ever get the true momentum trajectory. And I see it, and they're just doing this, and they start spinning in circles, and they're never quite getting anywhere. Yeah. It's a real common beginner mistake. Now there's a difference between, we're getting into something a little more like nuanced. We said, start with one thing, and then people are like, but how do I know? Well, you need to test it out, right?
Yep.
Proof it out. If you're getting a client and getting another client and like, okay, this is feeling really, I'm enjoying this. It's the also thing of, I think to grow a successful business, parts of it, I mean, I'm going to claim it. Sometimes it gets boring. It's boring to be successful because it means you're building a system that's repeatable.
Yep.
And if you're a visionary, repetition is boring. That's the big secret.
Yeah.
Growing a successful business, parts of it are boring.
Parts of it,
You are
will
so
get tired.
consistent.
You will get sick of saying the same thing over and over and over again. But
I high five people for that. Like, you sound like a broken record, high five. Now
Yeah.
you're in the zone. That's
Yeah.
what you have to do.
Yeah.
So know that going in. You want to be a success, you want to make multiple 6 figures and plus, you're going to be repetitive as hell. And you're going to break through that way.
And give yourself a chance too. Like, this doesn't happen in a month.
No,
This
it does not.
To go all in on and stick with what, I've heard multiple different time frames. I see people changing niches every quarter, and I'm like, you don't even have a chance to get traction there. Like, give yourself a good year to a year and a half, right? To go in on the niche and really allow yourself to create some visibility around that message so that you can then attract the people to you, and they can build consistency and build like trust.
Yeah, I really think developing a brand without any background in marketing and all of that, it is a journey. I really think, in all honesty, I don't think you really start getting in the groove till year 2. I'm just being honest. You're going to grow a lot in the first year if you're doing this type of work. You'll grow a lot in the first year if you're working with a mentor that is a marketing specialist, but you're going to grow a lot in the first year, but you're still not, it's not going to be a part of your like being and knowing just yet. You're just going to kind of, by year 2, you're starting to have the, okay, and that's when it's a good time to make minor tweaks, not starting with little adjustments in your niche, in your messaging, but it's a process.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight, but yeah, there's specific steps that you need to go to get you there that are sustainable, meaning whatever happens with social media, your brand is solid.
Yep.
Right. If you don't have that, then you don't even have anything, if you don't have a solid brand strategy, blueprint, all kind of anchored in, everything we're talking about, your purpose, your target audience, what your brand stands for, your brand promise, and Instagram were to go down tomorrow and you were just doing like the latest trend that is hack, like you don't have a brand.
Yep. Yes.
So now you don't have a business, right? Yeah. So you need something that's sustainable on any platform. You can just, okay, I know what my brand's all about.
Exactly. So good. Oh my goodness. So good. Debbie, thank you so much. This was so incredibly helpful. I love that you are here and that your passion is to help women entrepreneurs really get this so that they can make an impact in the world.
Absolutely.
This is something that you and I share, our heart around is helping women create a sustainable and a profitable business in a way that also feels really good and natural and aligned and authentic. And you are one of the top marketers that I know out there. And so I'm just grateful to have you here and to have people be able to hear you and to follow you. So let's let people know where they can find you. And I know that you've got an amazing gift. You've got like a 12-page free handout on how to make your Instagram pop, which is amazing. I will be downloading that.
Yeah, it's a 12-page guide on how to make your Instagram profile and your feed, the whole thing, like kind of breaking it down with visuals of the actual, so you can see like, here's what I'm talking about, this. So that's very juicy to get going, knowing that the brand strategy is the anchor, but I'm going to walk you through some of that. And you can follow me on Instagram at FranklyDeb. So it's like frankly, my dear, Deb, D-E-B, Frankly Deb. And I'd love to see you there and shout out and say hello.
Yes. Amazing. So go to the hub. You can go to the membership hub here, the Summit Hub, and look for Debbie's picture. You'll have a link there. You can just download the freebie there. And we'll also have ways that you can connect more with her. And this has been so much fun, Deb. I love you.
Oh, same here. Same here. It's such a blast. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We will see you back here again tomorrow for another guest that we have inside of our attraction portal. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.
Bye.